South Africa could move away from load shedding in the coming week. Eskom CEO Andre de Ruyter spoke at a site visit of Tutuga Power Plant earlier. Eskom implemented stage 2 load shedding from 4 o'clock this afternoon up until midnight. Meanwhile, Business Unity SA is deeply concerned that if load shedding is not remedied urgently, the country and economy will continue to be damaged by negative growth. Let's bring in CEO Cas Kavadia to discuss this further. Very good evening to you. Thank you for your time. Welcome to Newzroom Afrika. You've expressed your concerns at a time where we know that President Cyril Ramaphosa has been locked in talks with Eskom management. We are yet to know what the outcome of that meeting is. What are your expectations?
Well, thank you for having me. Our expectations, we encapsulated them in a release a couple of days ago. What we are concerned about is that unless the government actually treats us as the crisis it is and announces very urgently what plans they are putting into place, not to stop load shedding, because we're going to have load shedding for the next 18 months to 24 months, and that's just a reality. Yeah, hopefully we won't have it consistently, as the Eskom CEO has said. Hopefully in the next week we won't have load shedding, but that doesn't mean it's the end of load shedding. What we are looking for is what's the plan to get as much renewable energy and other forms of cleaner energy onto the grid as possible, as quickly as possible. What's the plans to enable maximum private sector generation of energy, which means removing any remaining obstacles, which means removing any red tape issues, which means the government sending out an absolutely clear message that the route towards stopping load shedding in about 18 months to 2 years is to encourage as much private sector generation as possible. The message needs to be that the government will facilitate that in any way they need to, and get that onto the grid as quickly as possible. And that's basically what we're saying. There are a range of other issues to make the administration more effective. There are a range of other issues to ensure that we perhaps also increase the ceiling for embedded energy beyond the 100 megawatts. There are issues related to how power is transmitted. But the critical message is that we need to get private sector to produce energy and as quickly as possible and get that on the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps let's flesh out the impact of load shedding and these rolling blackouts on the economy, and how businesses have been forced now to think outside the box. Sometimes small business especially has been mostly affected because they don't have the options and the finances to kick in generators. So business has been badly affected.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, small and medium businesses in particular are very badly affected because they don't have the resources and the capacity to actually consistently have alternative sources of energy. So they are very badly affected. Businesses in the business of products that are perishable, restaurants that need power to actually operate, a number of sectors are badly affected. And not only that, but that confidence is affected. Investors need regular supply of power, and what we are currently doing is anything but that. And so investors will be looking at us very carefully to see, do we have a plan to actually take care of this? I don't think investors expect load shedding to stop anytime soon, but investors do want to look at the plan that says that load shedding will stop as quickly as is feasibly possible, and that the government will stay the course take the hard decisions and ensure that those are implemented and be consistent about that.
The president has been accused by critics. I mean, just recently the EFF said he's been misleading South Africans regarding the power crisis at Eskom. And of course, as we look back at the number of times where we've heard him say Eskom cannot be allowed to fail and that the matter will be resolved, many promises, but a solid, concrete plan with deadlines and timeframes has not yet been unveiled.
Yeah, and that's what we're expecting. I mean, we are told that it is imminent that the president will make some sort of announcement about the plan, and that's exactly what we're expecting. I'm not going to comment on what the EFF has to say. As far as we are concerned as business, and our statement says this, we are ready and willing to work with government to ensure that a pragmatic plan, one that actually talks to the current crisis, one that talks to a critical role for the private sector in generating energy, one that talks to getting that energy onto the grid as soon as the energy is actually produced. If we have a critical plan like a pragmatic plan like that, we have indicated we stand ready to work with government to ensure that we move towards that goal. And that's our message to the president, and we urge the president to make his announcement on such a plan as quickly as possible.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to have to leave it there.